Dane, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Sure thing.
As the executive director at Medford Rehabilitation, you probably see a lot of resumes come across your desk, and you probably conduct a lot of interviews.
I do.
What I'm trying to get to the bottom of is how to get hired and how to stand out. And that goes for resumes as well as how to nail your interview.
Okay.
Now, I'm wondering, is there anything that you specifically look for when you're going through a stack of resumes?
Sure. The first, for me, applicable experience is the most important, especially in some of our higher level positions like a resident care manager, which is a registered nurse position, or MDS nurse or something like that. If it's an entry level position, then I'm not so much concerned with the work experience related to this industry or this type of facility, but I'm looking at their track record of employment. So I'm looking to see how often they jump jobs. For example, if I have an applicant that has a very long work history, but they've only been at each job for 3 to 6 months, I'm probably not going to consider that person because I'm going to figure that when they come to me, they'll only be here for 3 to 6 months. So it takes about that time at a new location, at a new workplace, to start to feel comfortable and to really hit your stride. So, when I see somebody only works 3 or 6 months at a place, then I think, well, I'm going to waste my time and all of my staff's time training them. So that would be another thing to look at. What else can I?
What about having
I'm just looking at the city. I'm looking at their work experience, and as I'm drilling into the work experience, I will look at the description of what they did there, and that pulls from the resume as well. And obviously, if there's a one-liner on a job that you were there for 2 years, and you just have one line on what your duties or responsibilities were for that position, it makes me think twice about that candidate.
That makes moving on to interviews. What sorts of interviewing techniques would you recommend for a person to practice before coming to an interview?
I'm a big fan of just being yourself, being calm, not getting stressed out. The one thing that really makes me think twice in an interview is if someone is very nervous and very uncomfortable. I want people on my team that are confident and fun and happy and positive. And that's nothing that you can really practice. It's just being, if that's the type of person you are, me as a manager, that's the person I want on my team. I think that it's very important to know what your greatest strengths are that you would bring to the table and bring to the team. So you definitely would want to have a very well-versed answer to the question of, what are your 3 greatest strengths that you would bring to my team, or what do you feel your 3 greatest strengths are? Make it applicable to the position you're applying for, and make it relevant to the industry and to the type of company that you're applying for. So if you can really hone in on that and in a very concise, compact way, explain why you would be of value to this employer, I think that goes a long way. And then, really the biggest advice I would give to someone that's getting ready to do an interview is to try and break the ice with, friendly conversation, and try and find something in common with that person quickly. So as you come into the office, be very observant of the office. If you were to come into my office, I have pictures of my kids, I have artwork all over the place. And so if I were coming into my office interviewing, I would immediately ask about my children. And then that's when you pull something out of someone that they enjoy or they're passionate about, then you start to build that friendship or the likability. And an employer wants to hire someone that they like. So that's something that I would recommend for anyone, no matter what type of interview it is. try and find something where you can connect with that person. And I'll just give you a quick example. My first job that I got out of college, the person that I was interviewing with was a branch manager of a copier company. So I was going in to sell copiers. That was the position. And so on his little cards, his business card said his name was Mustafa Arat, a very interesting name. So I asked him, what nationality that was. I'd never heard a name like that. And he said he was from Turkey. And I'm a big soccer fan, so I asked him if he knew this soccer club called Galatasaray. And his face lit up and he said, "You know Galatasaray?" And he started glowing and talking about soccer. And then the conversation went on to, he was backpacking through Europe, and I studied in Europe during college. And we spent almost an hour talking about music and traveling and soccer. But we didn't talk anything about the job interview. We didn't talk about selling copiers. And about an hour into the conversation, he says, "Do you want the job? You're hired." So I didn't even have to interview because I was just getting to know him. And so in a position like that, in a sales position, he could see that I could quickly build rapport with people. And so if you can build that skill, if you can work on that skill, that'll get you further than any other technique in an interview.
Okay, great.